Then I will talk into the camera as slowly Joshua makes his way over here for our next segment, A Song of Dan and Josh, where myself and fan-sided zone, Joshua Elizabeth Hill, talk about all things A Song of Ice and Fire. I've read the books multiple times by George R. R. Martin. Josh has never read them. We're going to go through every chapter, break them down, talk about them, and see what shakes out. Josh, how you doing?
Hello. How's it going, Selkie? Hello, everybody. Julie's out there, and who else is out there? Now that the comments are working.
We got Ahmed, we got Corinne, we got Josephine, we got Lauren, we got Ramses, we got Patty.
Welcome, everybody.
We got Houston.
Look at all these readers that are sticking around. Yeah. They say that books are dying. They're not.
Yes.
We're making it cool, Selkie.
We are single-handedly reviving
the literary community is
What's your
rallied
actual
around
middle name,
us.
by the way?
Actual middle name? David.
Yeah. Okay, David. I called
Close
you.
on the Elizabeth.
Yeah, it's short for it. And
we're-
Julie says
yeah.
hi. And so does Josephine.
Hello, Josephine.
Okay, so we're still on a Clash of Kings, still
We
about
are.
like a third-ish, a fourth-ish in, and we have read Bran 2.
We did.
At Winterfell.
Hodor.
Bran the Broken. Hodor makes a prominent appearance here. Okay, what are your first impressions of this one, Josh?
It was kind of talky like the last one.
Definitely talking.
So, and I was also, I didn't know that Bran had so much sway. Like Bran, the idea that Bran this is from his perspective, and there was a lot of big decisions being made, like Ramsay Bolton, Roose Bolton.
He comes up.
Are mentioned here. So, I don't know, because I thought he was even younger than he was on the show. So the fact that he's involved in this at all was kind of surprising to me.
Well, I mean, this is again. I'll get political for a second. This is what's so fascinating and what's so ridiculous about this society.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think Maester Aemon says, like, Bran, your brother's gone, your father's dead.
Yeah.
Your little brother is like 3. He's not going to do anything.
Mm-mm.
Your sisters are gone. You are the oldest male Stark in Winterfell. You're the Stark in Winterfell. And in this world, under this system, that means you have actual authority, which is horrible.
That was mind-boggling.
And shouldn't happen. But it does. Like, and that's in our world too. There is a period of history where we gave power to children just because they were the oldest males and they had to have it.
Yeah.
And this is it. I mean, it's interesting because we think of it as like, oh, it's romantic. You know, we like the Starks and they're cool and they have this, but
I didn't like this. This was weird to me. I was like, a
Yeah?
child should not be having this kind of power.
I mean, to be fair, so like the chapter is basically Bran hearing petitioners at Winterfell. Like, you know, the job of a lord in medieval times is you sit in a chair or a throne, if you're lucky and you're a king or a queen, and people come before you and they complain and they tell you their problems, and you have to say, okay, do this. You know, the old trick of like someone goes up and cut the baby in half. Like, what do we do with this baby? And the king, that's the king's decision. That's what Bran basically is doing.
Yeah.
He's hearing people, and then he's deciding what to do about their problems. To be fair, he's not really doing it. I mean, he's sitting there, but Maester, oh boy, Lewin. Thank God, I got that. Maester Lewin and Roderick Cassell are kind of actually making the calls, and he's kind of being there to hear and listen and to learn. But I mean, look, if he wanted to, he could say off with his head, and like they might not do it, but like they might.
I don't know.
And he is 8 years old, as Karen reminds us. How would you like to live in a state
Where an 8-year-old is?
was the governor? Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to refrain from being political like I usually am and relating it to current times.
Yeah, maybe you should.
Since I love what you love that, Selkie.
I mean, we can't. This is where the Wick Club. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh, just go say what you mean, God.
Nah, we all know what I mean.
We elected that one.
That's very
This would
true.
just be if it was a governor of Illinois, was just Pritzker, was just an 8-year-old who was the son of the last governor.
Yeah,
I'd be uncomfortable.
I would be too.
How good a job does Bran do at his lordliness?
I mean, doesn't he throw his weight behind Ramsay Bolton?
No.
A little bit.
To me, the most interesting part of this chapter is the petitioner who comes, who is, oh God, what's her name? Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Can you remember her name?
I can't, no.
Fine. Oh, I got
Hornwood?
it. Hornwood, yes.
Yeah.
Lady Hornwood,
Hornwood.
thank God. All right, yeah. So, okay. Lady Hornwood, who is a widow, Lord Hornwood died.
Father and son both died.
Yes, in the
Or husband,
some war or another. She's a widow. She has no children. She technically now owns the Hornwood lands of the north. And this, again, because of this system, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
Because a woman owning lands alone, this is an invitation for other northern lords who are either kind of trying to, like, marry her and just, like, we can take over.
Yeah.
Like, I think the giant fat guy, Lord Wyman Manderley, is like, you know, I need a wife, and she's very beautiful for her age. Or if you're Ramsay Bolton, you're sniffing around being like, maybe I'll just invade you and just take over your lands that way. It's a precarious position that only really happens as a result of the stupid society they have.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if it were today and a man had a deed on a house and then he's married and he dies and the deed goes to the wife and the kids die, like, you know, that's fine. Like, she owns the house.
Yeah.
And even if she died, it would, like, revert to the state or whatever. But here, everything is so uncertain in terms of who has the power that there's a real danger that there could be civil war or inter-north civil war here. Like, that this place is vulnerable. Someone might try and, at best, like, force themselves into a marriage with this woman, or at worst, be Ramsay Snow and just take it over.
Is this George R. R. Martin's commentary on this kind of thing, where he's literally putting a child in charge of coming up with these decisions or overseeing the conversation? An actual child is trying to determine the best thing to do.
I don't think so. I mean, personally, just knowing what I know about George R. R. Martin, I think he is trying to replicate or at least be inspired by history. Like, this sort of crap happened.
Yeah.
Like, again, it's the problem when you have just inheritor goes to the eldest male problem.
Yeah.
Sometimes a father will die, and sometimes his oldest son will be 6. And that's just the way it happens. Like, this kind of problem cropped up. So my take is I don't think he's trying to make a comment. I think he's just trying to reflect what real life history would have been like. In real life history is messed up. Stupid things happen in history.
Yeah, they do.
We had to get a wild up here. Anyway, I think Bran's suggestion is the lady's husband has a bastard son. I think with the Glovers. I'm sorry if I'm getting the names wrong, or the who has who. His idea is maybe he could inherit, he could be legitimized. She wouldn't like that, but it's one solution.
Yeah.
So, like, politics in this world, who she marries or who she inherits is a serious political question. You know, like as serious as who should we tax is in this world.
Yeah.
Like, these are actual questions of state to be decided. It's just strange and interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, this isn't the first time that George R. R. Martin has drawn from history to do these things.
Every day, all day.
Yeah, this was, I mean, I'm trying to think of, like, child leaders that I can remember outside of, like, The Last Emperor or whatever.
That's what I was thinking too.
Or, like, King Tut. Wasn't King Tut, like...
Yeah, he was a kid.
Very young, like a child. So, but... No, I mean, this is... Yeah, George R. R. Martin just drawn on history.
I mean, Joffrey is a kid leader too. Only unlike Bran, he's a little psycho, so he's being terrible at it.
That's true, yeah. I don't know why I never... Yeah.
Tommen is a little kid.
Tommen.
This thing is full of kids. I mean, again, it's war too. When there's a war, you know who's going to die? The older people. You know who's going to be left? The kids. And in a system where you pass rulership down to your kids, guess who gets the power?
There you go.
Okay, so that's kind of the commentary on the politics of the time, and just not even politics, like power, like where we choose to put power here. Okay, otherwise we kind of have Bran. You know, he's conflicted as usual. He's still not out of this phase where God, I wish I could use my legs and didn't have to not be a kid who you can't use his legs. And I wish I could be a knight, not a lord. Yes,
when that happens, but.
He wants to be a knight or a squire so badly that his stomach hurt from the wanting. But he has to hear petitioners because being a fire is out of the question, and because he robs her. So basically, he's desire versus duty is what his deal is now. He also has a moment where he has to walk through the courtyard on a basket on Hodor's back. They've made all this kind of accommodations for him. They, like, outfitted his room with bars. We could, like, pull himself over the place.
It's like with the what's that thing what they put on the stairs where you can just your little.
It is.
Your electronic scooter up the wall or whatever it is. Your seat.
Hodor is totally one of those, a medieval version of whatever those are called.
The stair. It's not a stairmaster. That's something
No,
else. Bran can't use a stairmaster.
Maybe it's like an elevator. No, that's already a thing. I don't know. It's one of those. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Richard, put an image of that in. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. But yeah, Hodor's one of those. They talk about, again, like how Hodor had to get used to him. Like Hodor was excited to go to the kitchens one time when he just ran and forgot Bran's on his bag and hit his head in the door frame, which is just a problem that we don't have to have with our modern escalator thingies. The sight of Bran in his basket drew stares from those who had not seen it before.
Also, there's some very savage anti-Hodor sentiments felt by the Frey children.
Yeah, these little Frey
Frey
dipshits
freaks.
are really,
I
hate them.
Yeah, that was... Because you read that or like you see it on shows and there's just certain things that are so visceral that they make your stomach twist with like rage. I'm just like that. It made me mad. Like, again, George R. R. Martin's the fantastic writer, so he doesn't need me to compliment him. But that was another example where there are these moments in the book that it's just so visceral that you're like, oh, God, those freaking kids. Like, God.
Yeah, they're saying like, oh yeah, they're talking about Hodor like he's not as smart. Like they're calling him Bran's horse. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, he's not as smart as a horse. That's for certain. Yeah, they're the worst.
Yeah, they're horrible.
And Hodor doesn't know. Like Hodor's just, he's
Bran knows.
Bran knows, but Hodor's just like Hodor. He's going with it.
Good old Hodor.
And by the way, people from the comments are helping us out here.
Ooh.
Louise says that Henry VIII, son of Edward VI, became a king when he was 9.
Okay, that's okay.
All the time in history, says Corinne. So yeah, that thing totally happened.
Oh yeah.
Henry VIII, like the Henry VIII. He was king when he was that young. Elizabeth's dad. Oh, good for him. Okay.
What's the song? I am Henry VIII. I am.
Henry VIII. I am. Yeah. And he had like 6 wives and he killed 5 of them.
That's true.
Good guy. Anyway, they also had a bit. I thought we might look at. There's an interesting bit where they talk about. So Winterfell has all these new guests.
Yes.
Lord Robin Manderley, who's too fat to sit a horse, is his kind of thing. Yeah. Lady Hornwood comes. So there's new people in the castle milling about. Mm-hmm. And really quickly, I thought we'd talk for just a second about heraldry, just a second, and sigils. Because they talk about them a lot in these books. Everyone has one. We got the Targaryen sigil.
Got a couple over here.
We got the Lannister sigil, the lion. We got the Stark direwolf. We have, in this case, the Frey, if you're wondering, is the Twin Towers, because, that's their whole thing, over the twins. And the Walders quarter their shields with surcoats and sigils from 4 different houses, like all their grandparents.
Yeah.
So they talk so much about it, I thought we'd look at an example, because this does happen. This is the coat of arms of Leonor, the Princess of Asturias, the current 13-year-old heir to the throne of Spain.
Interesting.
So this is a quartered herald. I don't know. It's heraldry. This is, I don't know all the terms. This is Leonor's, Princess of Spain's sigil. You got, I don't know what those houses are from, but 4 different houses, all quartered, and that's what quartering means. Like, you can probably figure that out. With the crown on top. So that's what we're talking about. Whenever George R. Martin makes reference to his sigil bore this crap on this field, or his shield bore the white bat of whatever the hell, they're talking about something like this. Which, again, is more important back then than it is now, but because of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
This is a world where they operated under a system where, if the oldest male has power, they pass it down to their kids, and that's where power is. Like, no one else has it. You can't get elected to get up. You can't, I guess you can.
You're born into it.
You're born into it. And so you have to mark yourself. You have to mark your territory, and that's how you do it, with those stupid symbols and everything. You put them on your shields, you put them on your helmets, you put them on your surcoats, which I'm sure is a medieval word that's taken eventually.
It's like a gang tattoo.
It is exactly like a gang tattoo. It really is.
Yeah.
Only it's like, basically, Westeros is ruled by gangs.
Yeah.
This is all just one big gang war before we standardize things.
The gangland of Westeros, with the modernization of the gangland.
I mean,
they've always existed. Like
what do you mean? Gangs?
Gangs have always been around.
Yes, gangs have always been around. I mean, I think there's a really good argument that not just A Song of Ice and Fire factions, but medieval times in general is gang warfare.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess they are.
Tribal.
Can you be a gang if you like levy taxes on people?
I mean, when does it get into the tribalism of it? Because there's
Sure.
gangs, and then there's tribalism, and then, I mean, we're splitting hairs, I think, at that point.
Sure. But yeah, good analogy. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. You have to bring taxation into it. Thanks a lot, Selkie.
Well, I mean, it's different. And
Yeah,
by the
you're
way,
not wrong. Yeah, you're right.
And Louise has an update. Yes, his son Edward became king at the age of 9 and died at 12.
Oh, short reign.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Henry VIII's son Edward VI was a king at 9. Okay,
Oh,
he died.
He doesn't have a song.
What's that? No.
Edward the Sixth.
I bet he does.
I'm
There's a
Edward
lot
the
of folk
Sixth,
songs out there.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't really
I'll
rhyme.
look some up.
Maybe.
Well, there are
We'll
other
see.
songs.
I guess.
Jesus Christ,
I
Justice.
guess. Not for Edward the Sixth.
I'm gonna go find a folk song by Edward VI. I bet one exists.
I would hope so. Like if I only lived my peak from like 9 to 12,
I mean, he ruled as a king.
but then like I died, that was it. I had like a 3-year run. That's all. Like I would certainly like a song written about me.
At the very least.
What other legacy is he leaving behind? I mean, it's got to be a song.
I mean, when you're a king, you're a king.
It's true.
Like,
The
you know,
minstrels will sing.
You'll
right?
be in the history books somewhere.
I suppose.
Exactly. Anyway, the final thing that happens in this chapter, I mean, again, like, not a huge moving and shaking chapter, but, like, this is, like, the meat of a lot of these books, is the decision-making, is the talking, this is how we negotiate power in this world. I don't think it's a hugely, it is kind of important because we get, like, Ramsay Bolton mention. And already we're talking about the boy is a sly creature by all accounts, and he has a servant who is almost as cruel as he is. Reek, they call the man. He said he never bathes. They hunt together, the bastard and this Reek, and not for deer. I've heard tales, because I can scarce believe, even of a Bolton. So they're setting him up to be a very, very bad man. And by the way, Reek already exists. Not a surprise to you?
Yeah, I'd assume that Reek was just like a title that was given to
kind of is,
whatever,
yeah.
whoever Ramsay's minion is.
Yeah. In the books it is. In the show, he just kind of ahas and names Theon Reek. But in the books, there is a Reek. And spoiler alert, he dies. And then Theon like, hey, you know what you can do? You can take his place.
Your new Reek.
Exactly. And at the very end of the chapter, I think Clay Kerwin brings up Jamie. Clay Kerwin, you don't got to remember that name. I don't think it comes up much.
No.
But there are thousands of characters here. Remember every single one. You're keeping a spreadsheet, right?
Oh, I have been. I've color-coded it and everything.
And just the end of it is Bran hears Jamie's name, or the Kingslayer, has like kind of a panic attack. He's not sure why.
PTSD.
It totally is PTSD, I think. That's how it plays to me. That he just hears it, and then like the world kind of goes loud and blank and bright, and the chapter just ends. He doesn't remember though.
Well,
Kind of odd.
something
that
down there. It's repressed. So.
Yeah, but again, it's interesting because that never does become a giant plot point.
No.
No, I mean you've seen the show now, you know.
Well, yeah, it's true. But we did get that fantastic meme. That was the conclusion of all of that.
It kind of was, yeah.
Bran, dead-eyed, staring at Jamie.
Do you think it should have come to like a confrontation or something?
Like how so? Between Jamie and Bran?
Yeah, or like I don't know, had some bigger effect on the story.
I mean, I would think so. Something so significant or seemingly significant. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the fact that it doesn't like lead like a battle to the death or something make it not significant. I kind of like
it's
the
like
fact that
it's a thorn that's kind of there where you're like, is something gonna happen? It's keeping you on your toes.
Yeah.
Is ultimately there's never really a payoff to it. So
I mean, I guess an
I mean, at least not a
payoff.
cathartic payoff that you would be expecting from something like, this happened so early on in the story, and it's been kind of a thing, but not a super big thing the entire time. You'd think there would be some kind of payoff there.
I like the fact that I mean that there's so much to the series that like it's kind of the inciting event, but it quickly like snowballs in this much bigger thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like the conflict where you fight with somebody and then you just fight for so long. Like, what started this again? I don't care. Let's just keep fighting.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing.
Well, it is kind of like the red pill, blue pill moment in the Matrix, where what does he take? He takes a red pill, right? Yeah. Where he wakes up. That's kind of like your red pill moment from the Matrix, where it's not necessarily the entire story or the purpose of the entire story, but it opens up a whole can of worms. And then you dive deeper down the rabbit hole of just how crazy everything is in Westeros. So.
All right. Any other thoughts, Josh, before we get to Tyrion 3 next week?
Tyrion 3, talky Tyrion.
More Tyrion stuff. I think last chapter's Tyrion chapter, next Tyrion chapter. There's a lot of Tyrion in this book.
Ooh, I like it. I'm a big fan. More Tyrion.
All right. We'll see you next week for Tyrion 3 here on Take the Black Live at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time at the Winners Coin Facebook page. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next week.